Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Crew Podcast. I am your visionary, Queen Angela. And if you are a diva that's looking to amplify your voice and you're looking for a home, we have space for you. Come on over and join them divas of the airways and amplify your voice.
Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now.
Aspiring Authors Magazine is a founding sponsor for Da Crew podcast. Get featured inside the magazine and allow your voice to be heard around the world.
Aspiring Authors Magazine is an international magazine founded in May of 2020 by Queen Angela. Get featured.
At Wings of Transformation Publishing, we are committed to helping our authors reach their goals and pursue their dreams of becoming published authors. We work closely with each author to ensure a successful publishing experience, and we are dedicated to helping them tell their stories in the most meaningful and impactful ways. We look forward to putting you on the path to writing your book.
Hey, y'all. It's the visionary of AALAC, the Chasing Your Dream Book Tour. And we have partnered with the Los Angeles South Chamber of Commerce Foundation. And we will be at the Jesse Owens Park August the 17th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out.
I know the Lord will see you through. Turn to somebody and say, trouble don't last. Yeah, trouble don't last always. Do you really mean it? Come on, say it again, trouble.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Nations with Prophetess Simone Williams Young. I am so excited. This is my first episode on the Crew podcast, and I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to share with you. We have many things in store for this season, and today we are paying tribute to men. And actually all month long, we will be paying tribute to men. There's so much that men go through. You know, we are quick sometimes to point out the flaws that men have, but how about let's, appreciate what the men are doing, and we want you to know that you are loved and you are appreciated, and we do recognize the wonderful contributions that you do make to in the world, and we're all on this earth existing together. So it is important that we lift each other up, because iron sharpens iron. And so I'm so excited. We're getting ready to dive into the show. I do have a wonderful guest. This person is near and dear to me, and why not share my first show and have a co-host who is my mother, author and pastor Brenda Williams. Hi, Mom.
Well, hello there.
I just thought it would be really good for us to collaborate and just share the show, and we can talk about some important things, the men that are in our lives. And we've had some strong men in our family, and no, they're not all perfect, but they are worthy of being mentioned and being celebrated.
Yes.
And so that's what this show is about. And so I just wanted to dive into, can you tell the world about my amazing mother?
Well, first of all, I'm so elated and so excited to be on my daughter's podcast. And thank you for having me and honoring me on your first show. I am an author. I am a pastor. And I am the president of BWCIC. We are Building Walls Improvement Corporation. And we do stage plays, and we reach out to the community and include at-risk children. So BWCIC is on the move.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I know when Mom was doing the play, it was so fun. It was so fun to be a part of. And everybody got together and made it happen, men and women together. So
Yes.
just stressing the importance of us all being able to work together, and how wonderful it is when we strive and work in unity with each other.
Right.
So I did want to quickly get into the Father's Day's coming up. I know Poppy, which is my grandfather, Mom's dad, he's no longer here. And but I did want to talk about him. He was such an awesome man. And as we are celebrating the men, also pointing out the importance also of leadership, the importance of we men, we need your leadership. I don't care what nobody says. Men are a great balance to us. Like I said, iron sharpens iron. We all work together. Tell me a little bit about, or tell the world about a little bit about my grandfather, your father, and so the world could kind of know who he is through us.
Sure, most definitely. My father was Pastor Milton K. Blackman. My father was in World War II and the Korean War. He was a man of integrity. He loved people, and he had a heart for people. He had a heart for the homeless, and that's why he started his church. But he would reach out to the community and just minister to those that were on the streets. He was a hardworking man. He worked 2 jobs to take care of us. And he just was so happy that God blessed him to have a family. And he just did everything he could to take care of us, his grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And he was just the best father, I would say, in the whole wide world.
Yes, I remember as being young and going to the church, and basically we lived at this church. It was a church right on, if anyone is familiar with the Los Angeles area, it was on a corner of 104th and Avalon. And he would barbecue, and he would feed the homeless, and he loved everybody. He would give people the last cent in his pocket, and that he loved the community that way. And I also remember he used to love those shelled peanuts. those old fashioned. You get a bag of those peanuts. You
Yes.
can get them from somebody off the corner. And we
Yes,
would
and
get to
his
sell peanuts. So
mhm.
we have some great memories.
We
Great,
do.
and
We
he was
do.
a great leader.
Yes.
So it's kind of
Mhm.
like leadership. Great leadership also starts at home.
Right.
And he led his family. He taught us what was right, and he taught us what
Yes.
was wrong.
Mhm.
And I love that about him.
Mhm.
uh Also, as well, I wanted to go over and reach over to my dad. My
Okay,
dad with
okay.
his mom's ex-husband.
Yes. We honor
Yes,
him.
yes. Yes, we honor him. Um he's no longer here. He passed,
Yeah.
he passed away.
Mhm.
But that is, also someone else that, we share in common, my dad.
Right.
And he was such a kind, gentle man,
Mhm.
and when you talk about leadership, I had 5 children. So I have 5 children, and he helped take care of every single
Yes, he did.
child.
Yes, he did.
And even after mom and dad divorced, what I remember about my dad was he never let us go without.
Correct.
Even though you guys were divorced, I remember
Mhm.
him still going to help you get your car serviced, and,
Yes.
making sure, going with you to even find a new car. And,
Right.
even though he paid child support, still the skies were the limit for me. He didn't limit me to just, I
Mm-mm.
never saw him say, "Oh, go back to your mama because I already paid child support for the month, if I
Right.
needed something." And so I
Mhm.
appreciate him, for that.
Right.
And so even as well, to I also the other men in our family, like our
Mhm.
my uncles, and
Yes.
there's so many people, so
Mhm.
many men that had such a hand in raising me,
Right.
and I appreciate each and every one of them, because
Mhm.
it takes a true village. And I'm an only
Mhm.
child. Could you imagine if you had multiple of them? It took all of them for little old me.
Just one.
But if you could, just, share us a few things of the men in your life who, I have, of course, my village. But if you can remember who was in your village that were males that you looked up to in the family, or even doesn't even have to be in the family, in church, or in the church circle, who do you feel made a great impact on your life,
Okay.
going through your years?
Well, I must say, of course, Dad was first, but then my pastor, Apostle Will A. Wheat, I was there from 1980 through 2010. So for me, my pastor was a great leader, pastor, and also a father figure. And I learned so much from him. He spoke so much into my life. And one of the leaders there, Pastor Hawkins, he was a deacon there, and he would interact with me, and he loved you, and he always imparted wisdom, into me. So pretty much, those were basically the two men that spoke into my life that I can remember. But as I said, Pastor Wheat was a great leader, and
Mhm.
um, he kind of just led us along the way and spoke into our lives. So I am grateful for him being in my life as a male. Now my brother Robert also, even though he was younger than I, but he always looked out for me. He lived with us for a long period of time. So if there was anything that I needed, I could always, talk to Robert, and he would share his wisdom with me over the years. So I was blessed, to have Robert, and then my other brother, Cedric, that he also had a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and he spoke into my life. So I was blessed to have two brothers. I had lost one brother, but Robert and Cedric were there for me. And so that was a blessing. So I was truly blessed to have, them in my life.
Yes, yes. Well, real quickly, what was interesting is I pulled up and I started reflecting on, what leadership is and what it has the potential, to do. And I see, great leadership can inspire greatness.
Yes.
And also, leading with love is great leadership. And
Yes, it
it
is.
makes a big difference in the world. Love makes a big difference in the world,
Yes.
period. But when you lead with love, it's a different type of leadership, and great leadership, it uplifts, it and transforms, and it's about bringing out the best of others. And I can truly say I'm thankful that the men in my life, exemplified that,
Yes.
the ones who were the positive,
Right.
as well, like even, like my husband,
Oh, yes.
Senior Elder Reuben Young,
Mhm.
he inspires me and he pushes me, he leads, but he also leads by example. And
Yes.
so that was one of the great things that one of the great things that I saw in him, before we got married. And so it's
Mhm.
good to have someone that, that I've been there before, through, and you've walked with me
Yes.
through, my first marriage,
Right.
and you're walking with me now in my current marriage, and
Yes.
noticing the difference,
Yes.
and how when you're with someone and you're, who
Mhm.
has great leadership
Yes.
qualities,
Yes.
it makes a big
Mhm.
difference. Somebody
Yes,
that
it
you
does.
can lean on and
Right.
rely on, and especially someone who understands that leadership is not control. You know,
Right.
but leadership can correct.
Yes.
Leadership can steer you in the right
Mhm.
direction.
Mhm.
And so, but when you have someone who does it out of love,
Love. Yes.
it makes a big difference, doesn't
A
it?
big difference. A big difference. And wisdom. And
Right,
wisdom.
and wisdom, and wisdom, exactly. I would just love to take a moment. I see a few people in the chats, and I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge them. Hello, Shanette. Hello, Patrice. Hi, Travita. I do thank everyone who has joined us today. If you're just chiming in, I'm having a conversation with Mom, and we're just kind of reflecting and going over positive things when it comes to the men in our life, because it's so easy to pick apart something and point out the negative. But what I want this show to do is to point out the positive that men can bring to our lives, and especially with Father's Day coming up. There's so many great men out there, but also understanding as well that some people may not share a father, but there are some men that have made a positive impact on women. you know. And so it takes, like I said, it takes a village for all of us, you know, and especially when I say it takes a village. And I love how when you can be connected with a man who is solid and has great leadership skills, because I remember when Ashton had passed. For those who may or may not know, I did have a son that was killed from gun violence back in August of 2020. And, you know, then I was single. You know, I had, you know, no male companion to lean on. And my husband now, at the time we were just friends. And he was a great shoulder to lean on. And I had to depend on him quite a bit for that male leadership. You know, there were some things I was confused. I needed a solid in a person who had a solid and sound foundation and who could help me think. And I thank God, and I'm grateful that God brought him into my life to be, you know, an example in leadership in guiding me through that difficult time. So, you know, having somebody in your corner, and my dad had already passed, you know, so I didn't have my dad's leadership any longer. I just have, you know, a part of my dad in me, you know, the leadership skills that he had instilled in me, but I didn't have a male companion to lean on. So it was important for me to have someone that was in my corner to be a voice of reason, to be strength, to be a strength. And Mom, you even saw that, you know, how my husband was able to,
Yes.
you know, he
Yes.
was able to
Step
kind
right
of
in.
right. So quickly, I want to go over to, I have a tribute to the men in our life. And I would just like to quickly, it's really quick, and just to share a little bit, a piece of me and also Mom. And if we could go ahead and watch the video. Told you it was quick. So,
But it was nice.
yes. And if anyone noticed, I did include our pastor on there.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did include our pastor on there because he is a great staple when you talk about leadership. I really enjoy being, I consider myself a daughter of his, and I also consider him our pastor, somewhat of a father, a spiritual father.
Yes.
You know, his name is Chief Apostle Michael L. Rose, from the Wrecking Crew of Christ Holiness Church in Los Angeles. And when I lost my son, he became also as well a really big part of my life that helped push me through. And he would say, "Daughter, I have it. You don't have to worry." You know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, but he became a staple. And he also counseled me when I was dating my husband. And he knew my husband longer, way longer than me. He knew my husband about 20 years to my, you know, at the time, maybe about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. So, but even still, he made sure that I was okay. You know, that you know, the dating process was going good, and feeding into me and making sure he let me know that he basically stood in place of a father you know, to make sure, you know, you're not being taken advantage of and things of that particular nature. And also seeing in his walk, you know, the many things that our pastor has to go through, the many hits that he takes, but
Yes.
yet he still takes time with his members and makes sure that they are good. And he leads by example. And so I'm honored actually to be not only a member of the church, but also to be consider myself a daughter. And also as well, Mom, would you like to give the audience a little bit of your experience with our pastor when you had your health scare? You know, how he kind of, you know, he stepped up and
Oh,
he
yes.
made sure.
Yes. We are blessed with an excellent pastor, father figure, and counselor, and everything that you need wrapped up in Apostle Rose. I had received a report that I had breast cancer. So at the time, I was in Atlanta and I had to move to California to be with my daughter. But I went to see him. And I tell you, Apostle Rose prayed with me. He stood with me every step of the way. And we were so connected in the spirit that anytime the enemy would try to do something to me, he would find my daughter and say, "Where's your mama at? I need to pray for her." So I tell you, I had not experienced, you know, a closeness with the pastor to that extent to walk me through what tried to appear would be a death scare, but through the word of God, an anointed pastor knowing how to pray and stand with me, I am here. So I give God all the glory and the praise and just thank God for my awesome pastor.
That's good. That's good. Yes, he really is. He really is awesome, and I really thank God for him. But I do also thank God for my village of uncles. They've all shaped me in some way, some form. You know, again, my Uncle Robert, your brother, he was kind of like he lived in a home with us, you
Yes.
know, while I was young and could not get past Uncle Robert. And I used to love, we used to love to eat Fruity Pebbles together. Fruity Pebbles and Subway. Those were our two things that we shared. But I learned a lot of Black history from him.
Yes. Very
You know,
knowledgeable.
which was very important. You know, there would be hours, you know, my head would be nodding like this. But but you know, he tried to instill pride in
Yes.
being, you know, who we were and who we are as a people. And you know, he's still you know, studying and you know, so you know, I appreciate him, and he was also a good example of a true man of God.
Yes.
You know, so I thank God that I also got to experience that because, you know, he was a little younger, you know, of course we have our grandfather, which was older. He was a man of God pastor, but it was good to see somebody, you know, a little younger step down from that, who
And
took a
saved.
stand. Yes, who took a stand and said, I'm going to live a holy life.
Yes.
And he didn't play when it came to his salvation,
That's
and he
right.
didn't play about God. And so growing up, I got to see that. I got to see that example. And so that's why I feel it's important to point out these things, because sometimes, you know, just like us women, we love to hear the accolades. You know, we love to hear, oh, I'm beautiful, or we love to hear you're doing a good job. You know, sometimes we even like to hear, yes, you did this for me. You did this. You did this. Yes, you did this. But also men also as well like to be reaffirmed as well.
Yes,
I
they do.
feel like they get beat up enough. You know, society beats our men up enough. And yes, I believe they make some mistakes along the way. Yes, you have to pick out the good with the bad, but overall, there are some men out there who are doing some awesome things, some positive things. There are men out there, they're trying to snatch the youth from poverty-stricken gang areas. They're trying to uplift them and pluck them up out of their circumstances. There are men who are speaking positive things
Yes.
into our youth. There are men that are out there loving women and making sure that we are protected and that we are loved. So and I wanted to make sure today that we focused on the good and the positive things that men are doing in our lives. And so I did also as well want to thank, I had another uncle I like to mention by the name of Eric. He has gone home to be with the Lord. And I remember being young, he would buy me savings bonds. And, of course, when you get old enough, you'd be like, oh, I got some money there. Let me go cash this in. Probably if I would have saved them, maybe they would be worth more. I don't know. But I do remember, he used to buy me savings bonds when I was younger. And, so as a man trying to look out for the financial aspect of a young child, I really feel like that should be commended. Because he said that as an uncle, he worked at a bank growing up. I remember he worked at a bank, and
Right.
So he wanted to make sure that he left me something, or he gave me something that would help me later. And so those things, like I said, they are noticed and they are well and they are appreciated. But also as well, my husband as well, he has worked with at-risk youth over the years. He's done some gang intervention, things of that particular nature. And he does coaching. He does purpose coaching, getting people to see the purpose within themselves and to move forward. So I appreciate all the positive things. And like I said, that has shaped me and has molded me into the person to even be here to speak on this podcast with you guys today. I'm typically a pretty quiet person, and I don't like to be in the forefront. But because of the love and because of the leadership, and because of the you can do it by the men in my life, that's why I'm sitting here today. And also mom, but my husband really pushed me and he really says, you can do this. So I feel it's important to highlight that,
Yes.
and thank him for all of the love and the support that he does provide me along the way. And so I do appreciate that. But we are getting ready to go to a commercial break. And I did want to thank Mom for coming on and just sharing these few moments with me and just kind of going down memory lane and just helping me bring some positivity and show some love to our men out there who are doing great things. And so we will go to a commercial break. And on my way back, or when I come back, I do have a great interactive question that I would like everyone to participate in and interact with me. This show is not just about me. I don't necessarily want to talk at you. I want to talk with you. I want to hear what's on your mind. I want to hear what's on your heart. And if you ever want to shoot me a message, just say, hey, can we talk about this? Yes, let's talk about it. Let's get it out there. And so now we're going to a commercial break.
Got 60 seconds? Take a mental health minute to learn about depression. Got 60 seconds? Take a mental health minute to learn about depression disorders. They cause symptoms that affect how you feel, how you think, and how you handle daily life. Depression should be treated by health professionals. Don't try to handle it alone or treat it with alcohol or illegal drugs. Treatments include psychotherapy or talk therapy, medication, and sometimes brain stimulation therapy. These treatments may also be used in combination with one another. If you think you might have depression, talk to a trusted friend, family member, or healthcare provider. The earlier treatment begins, the more effective it is. Learn more about depression through the NIMH website and take 60 seconds to share this mental health minute to help someone else.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, so what I would like for you to do is, if you have a man in your life, anyone, and you would like to pay homage, give them a shout out, or just simply say thank you, and also highlight the great leadership that has inspired you by them, please, by all means, shoot me a brief note to the nations, the number 2, to the nations podcast at gmail.com. And I will shout you out on the next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks. And so I will go ahead and read that. If you would like to remain anonymous, please let me know. But if you have a brief note saying thank you, I love you, I will go ahead and read it on the next podcast, and we will go ahead and get out how much you love and you appreciate the man in your life. And I thank you so much for tuning in today. I look forward to sharing with you guys many more on my future podcasts. I've had fun today. I love you all, and I thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to the Nations with Prophetess Simone. Good night.
I know the Lord will see you through. Turn to somebody and say, trouble don't last. Yeah, trouble don't last always. Do you really mean?
Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me.